My next guest is willing to travel the world for the best investment opportunities, and he's gotten some calls very right, including his calls on commodities. He's Jim Rogers, chairman of Rogers Holdings, joining us now from Vienna. Jim, good to have you back on the program. It's been a while.
I am delighted to be here, Betty. I wish you were here. We could all go have some Wiener Schnitzel.
Okay, next time. You got to let me know that you're going to be there first. All right. In the meantime, since you're in Europe right now, Jim, give me your take right now on what is happening in Greece. Should the Euro region countries be helping out Greece?
No, of course not. I mean, they should let Greece go bankrupt. It would be good for the euro. It would be good for Greece. It would be good for everybody. If Greece went bankrupt, then everybody would say, boy, the euro is serious. It's going to be a sound currency, and the euro would go straight up. It's not going to happen that way, but that's what should happen.
What do you mean? Wait, explain that to me. What do you mean? That if Greece went bankrupt, what do you mean that this would make people serious about the euro?
Then they would know that people cannot go and spend money they don't have. They cannot spend a deficit, 12 or 13% of their gross national product. They would know they can't just print money and paper over problems, that everybody would have to run a disciplined and sound currency. Betty, that's what the Maastricht Treaty said in 1992. Nobody's paid any attention to it since. It wouldn't hurt the euro very bad. It would help it. Greece is only 2% of the gross national product in Europe. If Idaho, say, went bankrupt in America, do you think America would fall apart? Do you think the U.S. dollar would disappear? Of course not. So, in my view, it would be good for the euro and for Europe and for Greece if they let them go bankrupt, nobody bailed them out, and then we could go forward.
But you're not seeing that right now.
You have some discipline in Europe.
But Jim, you're seeing.
No, of course not. I said it's not going to happen.
But you're seeing the euro get hit right now.
No,
okay, let me ask you this then. If Greece were to get its house in order, though, I mean, you may argue that this is a little bit too late, but if Greece were to get its house in order and bring down the budget deficit and start cutting spending, shouldn't that then, doesn't that justify some help from the euro region?
If they do it, Betty, of course they do. But the Greeks have been saying this from the beginning of time, but certainly since the beginning of the time they got into the EU. I mean, they covered up the numbers back in the beginning of the decade. They've been saying this since the beginning, and they haven't done it. Things have gotten worse. I'm not just picking on Greek politicians, by the way. The other politicians in the euro have been doing the same thing, including the French, the Italians, and everybody else.
Jim, do you buy these accusations that speculators are behind the euro's fall, that hedge funds are behind speculating on the euro? You buy that?
No, of course not, Betty. Do you think that the speculators and the hedge funds went out and ran up a deficit of 12% of the gross national product? Of course not. The Greeks did it, and the Greek politicians did it. Then other people see the problems, and they start selling. The main people who are selling in Greece are Europeans who are selling because they see the problems. It's just like in America. When Fannie Mae got into trouble, people sold Fannie Mae. Now, some people, speculators got in too, as people call them, but the speculators didn't cause Fannie Mae to run up gigantic debts and get into trouble. Management did. And then that attracted investors who tried to take advantage of the situation.
Okay.
The same way, Betty, that when somebody discovers a gold mine, speculators come in and buy those shares. They buy those shares.
Right. They're not to blame. They're coming in here for the opportunity.